Love it. I love the energy in the room. No, you're good.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Yes.
Ready, begin. I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much, Ravanna. Ravanna's from Fissler, and she just led us in the Pledge of Allegiance, and we're starting the meeting at 6:05 today. So we have nothing to report from closed session, and we're going to have the superintendent start us off with his report.
Well, we are very excited to announce the new principal of Richmond. Dr. Rojas comes from Hacienda. She is an experienced principal there. Actually has some background in Dual Language Academy as well. One of her specialties is building culture and this idea of ethical leadership. And I know for her, this passion around growing, building, connecting community is really important. It came through in her interview. And well, first of all, how about a round of applause for Dr. Rojas? And we're very excited. She also brought her family. And so I'm going to have Dr. Marcy Rojas introduce herself and her family.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for the warm welcome. My name is Dr. Marcy Rojas. I have been in education since I was 22. I really have, like he mentioned, a passion for education. I love what I do, and I'm so grateful to have this job and to just be able to give back to the Fullerton community. I have 3 boys. They go to Laguna Road. Calvin, can you wait? Marco and Lucas. I also have my 2 nieces here, Annabelle and Alessandra, and my dad, Richard, and my mom, Ophelia. Yes. I also have my cousin, Rosa, and my cousin, Tati. Say hi. And my aunt and uncle, Auntie Kathy and Uncle Frank. Thank you so much.
Oh, yeah, thank you. That's it. Awesome.
I will say this, just a big shout out to all of the staff that put everything together to get ready. It's been I'm knocking on a little wood, a very smooth opening, and that's because of good teachers doing great work. It's been good to see and go into the classrooms. Principals and managers working, classified staff working hard, everything from all the prep work to make it happen to instructional aides. We really have such a great team, and just a shout out. Today we were named by OC Parenting as top school district in Orange County.
Awesome. Report from my fellow trustees. I'll start with Bev. Bev?
Oh, I knew you were going to do that.
Oh, sorry.
That's all right. I want to welcome everyone back. It seems like we were just here, but we weren't. So the opening of school, thank everyone for what you guys have done. I know that's a huge undertaking to get everything going, maintenance to get everything ready, our teachers to get their classrooms are certificated and classified, just working hard to make that happen. I also want to give a shout out to our summer academy, not our summer academy, our academy. What was it called? Summer Institute. 2 days of professional development for our staff members, looking at some of the topics from trauma to anything that a teacher could want to learn about, or counselors. Just being able to offer those opportunities to our staff members so they can increase their skills and learn something and just refresh and get motivated to really take on this year has been just that was seeing the staff, all of our staff members who took on extra responsibilities to put on a class and to put on a session to teach each other. I think that's the greatest thing in the world, when you can peer-to-peer learning from one another. So thank you guys all for all of the hard work, and I'm looking forward to the school year.
Thank you, Bev. Hilda?
I echo Bev's welcome back to everybody. It's been quite a remarkable summer with so many programs and so much work being done, and everybody working so hard simultaneously to get us ready for this year. So welcome back, and it's going to be a wonderful year for the North Orange County School District, best school district in North Orange County. We have 2 new things starting in our district this fall. The first is our brand new cell policy. No cell phones, begin to end. And this board is excited about that, and we are already hearing good things going on in classrooms with a lack of people having to keep checking their smartwatch and their cell phone. And most exciting, we haven't had a lot of emails or anything from parents who are upset with us, because apparently the people who kept texting the most were parents and grandparents to talk to their children like they didn't know where they were. And so we are very excited about that. The second thing we're very excited about is our brand new sports academy. And I am so tickled that we are being not only able to offer a full educational program to children who want to participate in sports at the highest level, but also to those who can't afford to go forward and hire people to help them to become more proficient in their sport, that we can make relationships, whether it's K-pop or any other type of sport, to have students learn and get scholarships. Opens doors of opportunities to so many of our students. So congratulations to our very first class of Sports Academy. Now, maybe the most important thing. What do you think that will be? The most important thing, the Fullerton Education Foundation. We are proud that we will be sponsoring, the largest sponsor, for our next Home for the Homeless. We are very excited. We have one family already moved into the home that was built last year at Nicholas Junior High. Yay, Nicholas. And this year we will be starting with our trailer very soon. How do you pay for it? Well, the Fullerton Education Foundation to date has given over $3.25 million, big number, to the schools of the Fullerton School District, about $50,000 a year in grants to teachers, about $40,000 a year in sponsorship of things like Robot Nation, and now our, what do we call it now? Oh, Fullerton Fest, and now Fullerton Fest, and we're excited about that. Yes, spread the word, please. And to make the money for that, we have a gala. And so take out your cell phones, because here you're allowed to use them. September 28th, we will be having our gala. If you aren't a dancer, because this is disco, if this isn't your bullywhack, come and volunteer. We need volunteers all day long. We need setup, we need takedown, we need everything. September 28th. We love you when you come and help us. And for sure, go online, Fullerton Education Foundation, buy tickets, join us, and donate anything you can think of. You have an airplane, you want to fly somebody somewhere, we'll take it. You have a home in Rome and you want to donate it for a week, we'll take it. We can sell these things, and we would love, love, love if you have famous people that might want to have lunch with somebody in our school district or not in our school district. We'll sell it. and be proud to do it. So help support all these programs for our kids. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Trustee Sugarman.
I'm
Trustee
gonna-
Hack.
I'm going to put these in the back, so if people might leave a minute early, they can pick one up.
All right. I don't want to see those left behind today. The room is full. I want all those flyers be taken before. Trustee, yeah, handshake.
Okay. Well, welcome back, everybody. I agree. It feels like we've had a great start to the school year. I had a chance to go to Golden Hills Back to School Night. I think they were one of the first to kick it off, and it was excellent to see everyone. So glad to be back together. Already attended some Fullerton Council PTA meetings, Raymond's PTA meetings, Ladera Vista's ELAC meeting. All the parents are engaged and rolling and really off to a great start. And yes, I do believe from what I'm hearing, the cell phone rollout policy, new policy has been going fairly well, which we are really grateful for. We do want to hear feedback. We want to know if there are unintended consequences or things that we didn't think about that we can continue to tweak and to improve. But I've heard some good vibes on campus, and I even heard from a junior high teacher that kids are talking to each other during breaks and lunch instead of just looking at their phone. So you all can tell us if that's really happening.
Do you all agree over there, junior high kids? All right.
Maybe.
I think they're pleading the fifth over there. No, that's fine. Go
Maybe
ahead.
that's our hope. That's
Yeah.
our hope is that we focus on one another and our learning, and give some space for that important work that our students are doing. And also, I'm glad that we're talking today in our school board conversation about digital wellness. We're going to hear a report from our team because it is such an important part of our lives as adults and as students, young people. We need the tools, the research, and the evidence-based approaches to make sure we have healthy approaches that we can stay safe and have healthy relationships to technology, that we're using in ways that enhance our lives rather than harm or cause problems, especially for our kids' developing brains. So I'm really excited about that work we're doing. I'm excited that tonight we have some consent items on our agenda that are about contracts with community partners, with folks in our community that are doing some training and supporting and mentoring our students that have experienced trauma, whether that's through Orangewood Foundation, individuals. We're seeing that more and more these challenges that our kids experience do show up in the classroom. They affect the way they learn. And so we need to engage them in learning through addressing the whole child and the challenges that they faced and helping them process those hard things so that they can thrive in school. So I'm excited about that work and the support that we have throughout our community to continue to do that. And I'm just grateful for all of the teachers, the staff, the custodians, the folks that have worked really hard, and the students that have come back to school ready to learn this year. And I think we're off to a great start.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Trustee Hanchett. Trustee Takor?
Yeah, this is an amazing turnout. That was the most voices saying our Pledge of Allegiance that I could recall feeling. So I want to get the show on the road. Our 8th grader had some schedule issues. I found myself in the LV office a few times last week during the first week of school. Of course, everything was perfect and everybody was helpful. So I trust that our district is providing that same service to everyone. But I've maybe since leaving school, I've had maybe 2 nightmares about missing a final or showing up to class and realizing there was an exam that day. But I don't think about it in my daily life. But as I was sitting in the office at LV, there were so many students asking for another copy of their schedule, because they didn't know where to go. First period, my hands started getting so clammy. And I just remembered the fear and the joy and the excitement of the first week of school. So I just hope everybody got through it, and I'm so excited for this school year.
No, thank you. I also want to echo, again, amazing turnout, energy in the room. I loved it. Want to welcome everyone back. Again, also big shout out to the M&O team for getting our schools prepared and ready. Deep cleaning to getting the fields ready, making some repairs to some aging classrooms that we have here, and then also the teachers coming back and setting up their classrooms, hopefully bringing some joy to their new class students that they're getting this year. Just amazing turnout. Again, I was kind of bouncing around from school to school early on last week. My son attending Pacific Drive, and then just going to some other and seeing some other familiar faces at Woodcrest, Richmond, and Maple. Big shout out also to our Communities and Schools team for doing an amazing job of doing some outreach out there for all the programs and services that they're offering at our Nicholas Hub, and all the great things that we're doing here at FSD. So I just want to welcome everyone back. It's going to be an amazing school year. You just really do feel the energy once you walk in to a lot of our campuses, as you feel it now here today. But I'm going to pass it over to Emily McDougall. Oh, there we go. All right. So we're going to pass it on over to kind of highlight a little bit of FSD's national champs.
Speech and debate,
Speech and
national
debate.
champs once again.
I'm going to ask Andy and his family to come on up, please,
there you
and
go.
Miss Vidalis. So speech and debate, yes, and also the arts, too. So we're just going to
And the
mention this
arts.
real quick first. So I'm going to introduce you to Andy, and Andy's family, come on up. Mrs. Carranza, Sergio, come on up as well, too. We'd love to have you. So good evening, President Talavera, Board of Trustees, Dr. Pletka, Cabinet members, and FSC community. Every year, the Orange County Department of Ed hosts an arts festival highlighting the artistic achievements of students who continually and successfully overcome challenges. This year, our very own Andy Carranza from Park Junior High School had his art displayed. And Andy, thanks for beautifully displaying the piece for us right here called Fish. Great job. At the Main Place Mall where the festival was held this past April. Not only that, but Andy's art was also featured at the Bowers Museum in Santa Ana last month. But wait, there's more. His art was also, and his name was also featured in an OCDE press release a couple months ago as well. So big deal. People will know Andy's name across the land. So really proud of Andy. So congratulations, Andy, for your outstanding work in this piece, making FSE very, very proud. Also a big thank you to Ms. Catherine Vidalis, his teacher from Park Junior High School, and Ms. Terry Orr from the arts team, who helped facilitate this piece and let our FSC kids be a part of the festival. So thank you to both of you as well, too. And just really proud of Andy and his family, so thank you. And maybe we'll gather over here for a picture by the board.
I was about to ask Andy. Andy, I think Trustee Sugarman said that she can sell anything for this auction. I mean, that piece of art has really been traveling in Orange County. I think we can find a high bidder for that piece of art. I don't know. I'm just saying. Just a thought.
Okay.
Emily, take it away.
Thank you, President Talavera, Board of Trustees, Superintendent Dr. Pletka, Cabinet, and all of our FSD guests. Now is a great time for us to celebrate our nationally ranked and championship speech and debate team. I'm going to briefly introduce three ladies that are going to be coming up and part of the announcements this evening. Cindy Lee, who is our TOSA that supports among the ELA and HSS side of things, our speech and debate programs, is Cindy Lee. Amelia Burns is our new district liaison with Advantage Communications, who is our amazing partner providing the professional coaching that our students receive. We really have a top class partnership with Advantage Communications. And finally, Audrey Tohia. She is the Vice President of Advantage Communications. Again, very, very, very fortunate that we're partnered with Advantage Communications, so we thank the Board of Trustees for continuing to support this endeavor. Okay. So, Amelia.
Hello, Advantage Communications has prepared certificates for the students that competed on a national level at the virtual tournament this year. So students, when I call your name, please come up to receive your certificate and then stay up here because we're going to take a picture afterwards. We have Angie Lee. We have Arjun Parikh. We have Audrey Kwok. We have Audrey Woolley. Bijou Blay. Claire Yang. Ella Park. Jaden Brown. Jaya Kim. Jisoo Park. Jonah Kim. Lena Kim. Ravina Gigstead. Shia Kang. And Shiloh Santos. We also had 4 national champions individually at our virtual tournament, and I would like to recognize them as well. Our national champion in prose interpretation was Ravina Gigstead. Ravina, you can step forward. Our national champion in program oral interpretation was Claire Yang. And then double championing 2 events. First in persuasive speaking or original oratory, and then again in humorous interpretation, we have Jaya Kim. Ladies and gentlemen, that is your national team for virtual.
All right, we're going to take a picture real quick. Congratulations to our virtual nationals team. Students, later on at the end, as you exit, make sure to take a cupcake, but not right now, until the very end. All right, and now we're going to present our NSDA nationals team.
All right, hello everyone. Hi, hello. I want to take a second and recognize just how much work Emily McDougall and Cindy Lee do in the background. This was not in the script, so I'm going off script, but they do so much, even just to get our students to Iowa. It was a ride. To get there, many plane trips, transitioning from one terminal to another, so thank you both for all that you do. All right, so this is our second year now going back in person to nationals, and we took a 20-student team to Iowa to compete with nearly 800 competitors and 37 states represented among them. So this year we are so proud to announce that Fullerton had 38 events advance, and that is 12 more than we had last year. So we hit a new record for our FSD teams. All right, and now I'm going to read out named students. Same thing, you saw the virtual nationals kids do it. You're going to go right in front once you get your certificate. So, Christopher Kiker. Dahun Lee. Annika Bapna. Viviana Kim. Diana Alfara. Audrey Nino Franco. Carlisle Arthurs. Nice. Alyssa Sanchez. Adeline Choi. Kaylin Choi. Caitlin Choi. Natalie Hong. Abigail Im. Audrey Lee. Vivian Lee. Annette Lee. Apollo Meneses. Victoria Park. Sabrina Samadan. And last but not least, Claire Yu. All right, so we're going to get a quick picture of our national students that went to Iowa. All right, and among this group, we have 3 national champions representing here in Fullerton. There are 12 events total. To have 3 of them in this room alone is a really big accomplishment. So Annette Lee in oratory speaking. Apollo Meneses in humorous interpretation. And Natalie Hong in program oral interpretation.
One more photo with the trophies. All right, thank you, students. On your way out at the end, make sure to grab a cupcake, okay? All right, I'm going to hand the mic off. Students, you guys can go back.
All right, and last but not least, the national tournament does recognize teams as well, and teams that stand out for excellence and also competitive success. So along with our champions, we would like to highlight and proudly recognize Parks for receiving an overall School of Excellence award. Normally that is reserved for teams that do speech and debate. Our students here do speech primarily at nationals, but we had so many points that we won over teams that do both. So that's a huge accomplishment, a record that we've hit as well, and we want to take a second to recognize our Parks Junior High teacher coach, Ms. Linda Wingfield. We want to recognize our Parks Junior High team. Come on up.
the trophy. And then we'll call Robin in. Oh. We're actually going to have Robin Munschow, Principal of Parks, also come up and join in for the picture. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you for the support. Having had the opportunity to travel with the team for 2 years now, having been able to go with coaches like Linda, with folks like Audrey and Amelia, and coaches who are dedicated, I have to say it's really an honor to work with these students. It helps us to design a program that is better, that is more meaningful, and really to know that we have the support of the teacher coaches, of the administrators at the sites, and of the board. It really means a lot knowing that our students get to benefit from something like this. It's really incredible, and we just thank you.
Yeah, no,
Congratulations to Parks. Congratulations, FSD. And don't forget to take a cupcake.
Don't forget to take a
Third,
cupcake.
right, that's the third time the charm.
Yes. Such an amazing program. When I first found out about speech and debate and what it does and seeing it in action, it's just one of those lifelong skills that you'll use no matter what, interviews, things like that. So an amazing program that we are proud here to support. Awesome. Thank you all. Go ahead, take cupcakes. Don't be afraid. Don't be shy. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Take the cupcakes, though. Thank you so much, Andy. Good job, bud. All right. If we can start, yeah. All right. Yes, yes, yes. Room 18. He's in room 4. All right, we're going to. All right, Trustee Sugarman, so now we're going to move on to information from our associations. Do we have information from DLAC? Anna, DLAC? There we go. If we can share, that'd be great. Thank you so much.
Okay, I'm going to have to move this down. Put it right here. Good evening, President Talavera, esteemed school board members, Superintendent Dr. Pletka, the Executive Cabinet, and families joining us tonight. On behalf of the DLAC Committee, we extend a warm welcome as we begin the 2024-2025 school year. We are grateful for the leadership of our principals, the dedication of our outstanding teachers and classified staff, in welcoming students back to school. It can't be easy. I know it's not for us parents. We are eager to collaborate with our distinguished leaders, Dr. Brown, Assistant Superintendent of Educational Services, Dr. Erlinda Sotero Ruiz, Chief Academic Office, and Ms. Ruth Gayer, Program Specialist of Educational Services. I attended my first DLAC meeting of the year at Ladera Vista Junior High, where my daughter now attends. Can't believe I have one in elementary and one in junior high. We discussed the new cell phone policy, and the parents were very pleased with the changes. I know Ruthie was asking how our parents feeling. Our ELAC parents were very happy about that. We also conducted a needs assessment with the ELAC group and are eagerly awaiting more parental input. So I can't wait to hear what they were able to come up with in addition to what we already said in the meeting. I'm excited about the upcoming year and the progress we can make for our community. Our first DLAC meeting is scheduled for September 20th at Laguna Road from 9 to 11. So we look forward to everybody attending who is available. I'm sure Dr. Brown will be there, and we'll have Erlinda and Ruth. So we look forward to seeing you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
One more time, what's the date and time of the meeting?
September 20th at Laguna Road. Put it on your calendars, everybody.
Make sure you show
September
up.
20th from 9 to 11. Don't be late. Just kidding. You can be late.
Do they lock you out if you're late?
We normally don't lock anybody out. And just let me tell you.
And I was about to say, I was like, and you follow the smell. That's what.
Usually you follow the smell, and you'll be able to find the classroom. If not, just ask the ladies at the front office. Yeah. So one thing, if you are late, you will not get food. Ask Ruthie. One time she missed the tacos, and oh my God, she was very upset.
I thought you were going to have to do a dance or something like, you show up late, the last person.
Now that you said it, we might make, if you're late, we might make you do a dance. You never know.
Awesome. Thank you so much. No clue.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
No, I think it's mine. Go ahead.
What about mine?
All right. I think it was mine. PTA? Report from PTA?
I'm going to try to read for PTA.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. Good evening. This is the report for the Fullerton Council PTA. Although we are sad to see summer ending so quickly, we are ready and gearing up for the upcoming school year. First, let me identify our 24-25 Executive Board. President Joanne Cho, Executive Vice President Nivi Jawar, Vice President of Membership Kathy Fernandez, Secretary Lisa Sherman, Treasurer Cynthia Miller, Financial Reviewer Lisa Jewell, Historian Melissa Proctor, Parliamentarian Olga Hart.
Our biggest news, we have a new website, thanks to our president, Joanne Cho. The website is www.fullertoncouncilpta.org. On this site, we will have updated information regarding events, meeting dates, membership info, program info, and anything else that is Fullerton Council related. It is a work in progress, and we certainly welcome any input regarding items that we should include on the site. Also new this year is our mentor program. Each council executive board member has been assigned 3 mentor schools, so we can help guide the unit presidents, board members, upcoming events, or regarding upcoming events that are due, and as always, we can help answer questions and address any issues that come up at the individual school sites. We will also be offering our own Fullerton Council training boot camp this year for interested unit presidents and all other school site executive board members. We will be offering this during our September 24th meeting from 8:30 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. Other exciting news, so far we have over 2,199 members at our various school sites. That's an awesome start, but our schools need a lot more support. Our goal is 5,000 members. We encourage everyone to please join as many school units as you can. And yes, you can be a member at multiple schools. So please go to each individual school site to join, or we have links on our website. If you need help joining a unit, please reach out to us directly, or we can send you the links. We welcome anyone to attend our council meetings, which are typically held on the 4th Tuesday of each month at 9:30 a.m. at the Fullerton Joint Union High School District Board Room. You will hear from our superintendents and also be able to ask questions. We also hope to have some guest speakers this year. The exact dates of our meetings will be posted on our new website. The next one is on September 24th, 2024. As always, you can reach us at fullertoncouncilptainfo@gmail.com. And we welcome any input and are happy to answer questions. So please reach out. Thank you so much. That concludes our report.
Awesome, thank you. CSEA? Here we go.
Good evening. Good evening, Dr. Pletka, President Talavera, members of the board, cabinet, and FSD community. I am Sandra Siebert, second vice president for CSEA. It has been a smooth opening this new school year. This would not have been possible without the invaluable contributions of our classified staff. Their dedication and hard work ensured that every aspect of our schools, from administrative tasks to maintenance, ran seamlessly, creating a welcoming and efficient environment for our FSD students and teachers alike. Their commitment truly set the stage for a successful year. 2 executive board members, Sherry Williamson and Tatiana Ortega, represented our chapter at CSEA's 98th annual conference. Sherry, our communications officer, attended as a member of the statewide communications committee for our area, and Tatiana, our first vice president, attended the conference for the first time and earned her job steward jacket for completing the job steward training. So yay, Tati. CSEA would also like to recognize the classified staff who worked hard over the summer to support summer school. This year, we also had several classified staff working to get the Performance Academy off to a good start for the first week of school. Also, look out for CSEA members wearing their new black chapter t-shirts distributed at the Welcome Back Barbecue. Lastly, CSEA is currently conducting interviews for our upcoming school board election. Our involvement in this crucial process reflects our dedication to supporting the FSD community in multiple ways. A school board that recognizes and supports classified employees is investing directly in the success of FSD students and teachers. By valuing these essential team members, the board ensures a stronger, more effective educational environment where everyone can thrive. So thank you.
Awesome, thank you so much. FETA. There we go. I think we all need one.
Good evening, President Talavera, board members, Dr. Pletka, cabinet, FETA members, and guests. We are back. FETA is looking forward to the 2024-25 school year. First, we want to thank you for the opportunity and the flexibility with the Welcome Back barbecue this year. It was definitely a great turnout, and the ability to come when we could or not at all was appreciated by our members, who always find those 2 days right before kids come back the most valuable. Next, FETA knows that many members found themselves with shorter summers due to district or FETA conferences and trainings. I found an old newsletter from Superintendent Ron Cooper. Anybody remember who he is? While I was cleaning out files. Every staff member who worked, attended, received new certificates or degrees, worked summer school, helped with new curriculum, cleaned classrooms, etc. over the summer had their names mentioned in this newsletter. Maybe we can bring it back. I don't know. It would be a lot of names, I think. In any case, FETA would like to send a huge thank you to all who worked over the summer. FSD is definitely greater because of your commitment to the district, FETA, and especially to our students and families. On August 15th, FETA Executive Board and Rep Council voted to endorse the following candidates for FSD School Board: Hilda Sugarman and Leonel Talavera. We appreciated all the candidates taking time to interview with our elections team, as well as speaking at our Rep Council last week. All candidates showed both passion and commitment to work with us to support our first priority, our students. We look forward to working with all board members now and in the future. We know that your job supports us with ours. Lastly, I look forward to this year as 100% full release president with excitement. I had the opportunity to share our FETA goals approved by our exec board with Dr. Hammett. I would like to pre-thank all administrators at sites for allowing me to come and visit your campuses and buildings this year. FETA is excited to work with our members as well as their sites through both the PAL process and the many benefits we can bring in through FETA. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. FESMA?
Check. Thank you. Hello, President Talavera, board members, Dr. Bob Pleck, and cabinet members. I'm Mike McAdam. I'm Director of Purchasing, Warehouse Contract, and Reprographics, and also FESMA President. On behalf of FESMA, we are excited to start of the 24-25 school year. Over the summer, transportation implemented a new routing software system, which will take them from DOS 3.1 to next level on that side of it. Getting the buses waxed, serviced over the summer to make sure day one they are rolling. M&O working district-wide from ground services, construction, making day one ready to rock. IIS getting devices, network, security cameras, making sure day one of learning is ready. Food services, ready to serve amazing food for our students. Purchasing, making sure all open purchase orders, purchase orders in general, contracts are completed. So day one, services and equipment are in our teachers' hands and students' hands, ready to learn. Warehouse pickup surplus, delivering mail, packages, receiving the items in, print shop rolling out banners, signs, and custom design work. Business services and all the departments supporting year-end closing and starting a new fiscal year with budgets. Ed services and student support services getting ready to impact students and teachers and seeing greatness in all of them. Building them from each and every day to make a difference in this community and world. HR hiring, making sure staff are ready and we are supported. Most importantly, payroll. Need I say more? Always putting smiles on our faces with paydays. Little shout out Maple Elementary and School Specialties partnership and the brand new TK classroom with new furniture donated from them. If you've not had a chance to visit it, it's pretty remarkable and very outstanding in what they're doing. Management is ready for anything that comes our way and will continue to make Fullerton School District the greatest district of all, but more importantly, as a team. With our certificate and classified staff, we will make every student successful. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you for that. So we're moving over to the public comments portion of today's agenda. Fulton School District meeting adheres to a decorum of rules outlined by bylaws 9323. Please submit a public comment request slip, which is available at the back left-hand side of the room. Individuals will have 3 minutes to address the board on each agenda or non-agenda item. Public input on each item is capped at 20 minutes. A total public comment time is limited to 30 minutes. Comments on agenda items are heard at the time the item is discussed, while comments on non-agenda items are heard during public comment section of the agenda. No action is discussed or allowed on non-agenda items unless permitted by law, which will be referred to the superintendent for handling. So it looks like we don't have any public comments, correct, Anna?
We do not have any
No, we
public
do not.
comments
So we're going to
tonight.
move on to approving our board minutes from our July 30th board meeting. So do I have a motion to approve those minutes from the July 30th?
I will motion to approve the minutes.
Awesome. Do we have a second?
Second.
Everybody in favor?
Aye.
Awesome. Aye. My vote. Approving today's agenda. Do I have a motion to approve tonight's agenda?
I move that we approve tonight's agenda as presented with one correction in item 9.
90.
In item 9?
I think it's 9.
Yeah, 9D is
9D.
the
Employment.
consent item 9D.
Okay.
Yes.
Perfect. Do I have a second for that?
Second.
Awesome. Everybody in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Awesome. Now we have a presentation from our SEL team. So Helene and staff are working their way up to the podium. It's like a play-by-play announcement right here. Just making sure. All right, Chad's going to kind of lead the way as well.
I am. I'm just going to kick the team off. It's
Perfect.
my pleasure this evening to introduce our SEL team. SEL stands for Social Emotional Learning. And what's amazing about this team is it's not a huge team, but they are able to accomplish amazing things in our district. And really their impact is felt in the lives of every one of our students and every one of our staff members. They have an amazing effect and impact on the district. So I'm very excited to introduce Dr. Helene Morris, and she'll introduce her entire team, and I promise you this will be a great presentation.
Well, good evening, President Talavera, Board of Trustees, Superintendent Pletka, Executive Cabinet, and all of our staff and community members who are here with us tonight. It is our pleasure to present tonight's Social Emotional Learning, or SEL Teaching and Learning presentation, which highlights our progress from the 2023-24 school year and helps to kick off our work for the 2024-25 school year. Okay, this is our team that has been serving our staff, students, and community this school year. I am Helene Morris, the Director of Administrative Services.
I'm Rosanna Fonseca, Director of Social Emotional Learning and Family Supports.
I'm Amy Sotolongo. I'm the EIS and 504 TOSA.
I'm Amy Lees, and I'm the SEL TOSA.
Michael Klein, I'm the lead counselor.
Our journey as the SEL Teaching and Learning team began 3 years ago when we presented our colorful framework to you. It was akin to revealing the iris of an eye with the pupil or student at its center. We shared our vision and logo, I see you, you are important, and you matter. Our vision took root and grew, much like the resilient bamboo that quietly strengthens underground while shooting skyward a massive 90 feet in 6 weeks. And we compared our progress to bamboo, signifying the growth of our efforts to nurture the social and emotional well-being of our students. And then, in the year that followed, we delved deeper, wielding our metaphorical dowsing rods to unearth hidden traumas beneath the surface. Inspired by Dr. Nadine Burke Harris's book, The Deepest Well, we sought to find each child's groundwater, their struggles and trauma, so that we could provide the support and healing they deserved. And now we stand before you with pride and purpose, and with the groundwater mapped out, we have begun the intricate work of laying the pipes, which are the essential connections that ensure the flow and support of understanding. Because you see, ultimately, we are using our tools to build a house. But this is no ordinary house. We are building connections and laying down the pipes that will transport compassion and empathy to our students. Amy Sotolongo reinforces the foundation of our house with PBIS, recognizing that every home, every child is built upon unique needs and experiences, including trauma. And with a foundation firmly in place, we turn to the framing, the structure that gives shape to our house. Drawing upon our Castle 5 framework, Amy Leaves carves out rooms that are purposely designed to support students in traumas. And Michael Klein, our master electrician, brings these rooms to life, sparking interests and connections that illuminate the path forward for our students. And as the final touches are put into place, Rosanna Fonseca oversees the inspection with meticulous care. Every detail is scrutinized, every surface polished, ensuring that our house is not just a structure, but a sanctuary, a place where every child feels seen, heard, and valued. And that includes some exciting next steps for our district and one special family we heard a little bit about already, and Rosanna will tell you about some more later in the presentation. So to our esteemed Board of Trustees and Cabinet, we offer a humble gift, a tape measure, not just a tool of measurement, but a symbol of our commitment to transparency and accountability with data. With it, we invite you to join us in measuring the progress of our students, which it says on here, tracking their growth and celebrating their achievement. Now, before we talk about our foundation, we must do some grading to level the land, or in this metaphor, our understanding. Grading land for a house's foundation means shaping and leveling the ground for stability. It includes removing excess soil, filling low spots, and it guarantees proper drainage to avoid water buildup around the foundation. So grading ensures a strong foundation and structural stability for the entire house. But beware of the villain of this story, negative grading. That's when the land slopes toward our house, causing water to pool around the foundation, leading to moisture issues, structural damage, and unwanted guests like mold and mildew. So remember, we must grade to code to keep our house standing strong. And tonight, I want to level our understanding. You see, I'm concerned about negative grading because that can lead to mold, which is poison to our minds. So I'm here to debunk some myths. Sometimes I hear people say things like, well, PBIS doesn't work, or PBIS only works for 50% of our students. And tonight, you will hear that Tier 1 PBIS is intended to work for about 75 to 85% of students. And it does. But it also means that 15% of Tier 2 PBIS students and the 5% of Tier 3 PBIS students will receive all of the Tier 1 interventions in addition to more intensive and targeted Tier 2 and Tier 3 supports. We call this the core and more, which Amy Sotolongo will elaborate upon. So if you've heard some of these myths, I ask you to please be open to tonight's presentation, because it is a misconception that PBIS is just about the prizes. The dirt has not been compacted enough if we do not realize that the SRSSIE, restorative practices, the second step curriculum, the Castle 5 competencies, trauma-informed practices, Rethink Ed, and so on are all research-based. They come with what is known in the research community as white papers. I will also hear things like, yeah, but where's the data? I humbly ask, please be open to the practices and data we are about to show you. This is by no means perfect data. We still have flower beds to plant. Everything is not coming up roses. But we will do our house a great disservice if we make broad generalizations, such as saying that intensive Tier 3 student behaviors represent and reflect the intended outcomes of an entire program and student population. It's a misuse of the tool to expect Tier 1 PBIS interventions to work for students with Tier 3 needs and traumas. Thoughts are things. And that is why I begin by speaking life and truth over this work. Whew. Grading is some intensive work. So now it's my pleasure to turn to Amy Sotolongo, who will talk about our foundation.
All right. Building a house requires a very strong foundation. In creating that foundation, you need to follow multiple steps to ensure a successful future build. Some of these steps include preparing the site, excavating, formwork and pouring concrete, waterproofing, assessing damage, and completing multiple inspections over time. In the same way, we build a strong foundation for our students, families, and community through full implementation of PBIS, which is at our foundation. We teach our students the expectations of our schools, and we practice these expectations. We positively reinforce behavior, and we clearly define discipline policies on our campuses. And when challenging behaviors occur, each school has a flow chart to guide teachers in defining what's handled in the classroom and what may need administrators' attention. When students need more support than the Tier 1, we have Tier 2 supports in place to teach skills and cultivate growth. If students need an intensive intervention, we have Tier 3 supports available as well. All right, now we have a clear understanding of the foundation. How do we know that what we are doing is working? We can use the MTSS, or the multi-tiered system of support model, to help us make a determination. The MTSS model shows us that because we have layered research-based practices like PBIS, restorative practices, trauma-informed practices, group counseling to develop skills, and so many more, and we do them with fidelity, we can expect that Tier 1 will meet the needs of approximately 75 to 85% of our students. For Tier 2, we can expect that approximately 10 to 15% of students may need more support. And for Tier 3, we expect to offer intensive individualized intervention to at least 5% of our students district-wide. So as you can see, PBIS is a research-based practice that yields expected outcomes. So with this model in mind, let's take a close look at our SRSSIE data. Currently, our teachers complete the Student Risk Screening Scale for internalizing and externalizing behavior, also known as the SRSSIE, our universal behavior screener, 3 times per year, in the fall, in the winter, and in the spring. This data is generated by the teachers based on their perspectives of their students. Once the screener is complete, how do our sites use this data? The data is used by our sites to identify all the students who may have areas of concern or need, which allows us to intervene early and give the support that's needed. Let's look at our data over the past 5 years to help us view the needs of our students. So as we look at the screener data over the course of the past 5 years, we see the 2019-2020 school year. This is the year that school closed in March, but this screener was taken in the fall, so that represents pre-pandemic data. The 2020-2021 school year started online and then moved to the 3 options of online, hybrid, or 5 days a week in October. This was a really tough year for all, but we only see a small uptick within the data as our district was highly intentional in meeting the needs of our students and families. The 2021-22 was the year we put everyone back on our 20 campuses and started school in August, as we had prior to COVID. The past 2 years, we've continued the pre-pandemic calendar. So in looking at this data, does it match the ideal expected outcomes that the MTSS pyramid outlined? Do we have approximately 75 to 85% of students scoring in the low risk or the green category? Yes. Do we have approximately 10 to 15% of students scoring in the moderate or the yellow category? Yes. Do we have approximately 5% of students scoring in the high risk category or red? Yes. Clearly, if you're wondering if our program is working, it is. As we look at our spring data, it's important to note that we did not take the screener during the 2019-2020 school year due to school closure. So over the course of 4 years of data, we again see consistent rates of needs that have aligned to the MTSS pyramid model, signaling that the interventions we have in place are working and we're seeing the ideal expected outcomes.
Can I ask you a question? If you'll go back to that chart, that 10 to 15% in the red, are we seeing effective movement within that group, and that the numbers are new children coming into that group each year?
Yeah, so as we look at students with the screener and we place them in Tier 2 and Tier 3, we also have, like we call them data decision-making rules, like how do we place the child into an intervention and how do we fade them out? And so we use those data decision-making rules to place them and also to fade them. So yes, we have students who are who we take the screener and we're like, oh, the student popped up, something's happening, contact family, offer intervention. And then we also have students like, hey, these students have been in this group and they're really using these skills. We're not seeing the need that we saw before, and we're going to start to fade them out. So yes, it is a flow. It is not like a solid, like these are all the same kids within this graph.
Can I ask a history question too then? When you produce that data from starting, I think, 2019, or 2019, sorry, when did we introduce the current PBIS program that we have in our SEL lessons? I wasn't on the board at that time, so I'd love to know how those correlate with that data. Do we know?
Our current PBIS has been in place for 10 years?
Yeah.
10 years, and this team has been intact. This is year 4 for us.
Okay. So
And we will, to add, we will be going into SEL and talking about that data and that program from when it started and showing you some data too. So if you stick with us, I'm hoping we'll get to where you want to go.
All right. And during the 2022-23 school year, our teachers began screening 3 times a year as an effective way to have 3 points of data and 3 opportunities to identify needs amongst our students. Our winter data shows the same consistent level of need that we see in the spring and the fall. All right, so once our sites have reviewed their data, what interventions do we have available to support our students? So as you can see from the chart, our Tier 1 or core or green section of the pyramid is for all of our students. This includes teaching behavior expectations, implementing positive reinforcement systems, following daily classroom routines, acknowledging, giving feedback and rewarding positive behavior, teaching SEL lessons to all of our students, implementing classroom circles, and using trauma-informed practices. In the yellow, you see that students at Tier 2 receive the core, so all of the Tier 1 in the green, and more, such as small groups, social skills, small group counseling, behavior contracts, peer mentoring, lunch bunch, restorative circles, and trauma-informed practices. In fact, we'd like to highlight that in tonight's consent agenda, you'll be approving 2 community partnerships, Ruthie already alluded to, that will help bring more intensive and needed trauma-informed services to our students. So in red, you can see students at Tier 3 receive the core and more, such as personalized behavior intervention plans, one-to-one therapy or counseling, mentorship, wraparound services, intensive informed practices, and restorative conferences. So as we circle back to our MTSS pyramid model, let's look at one last time at our data through this lens. Does our fall, winter, and spring data align to the model? Yes. Does our data match the ideal expected outcomes? Yes. And if you're wondering if what we're doing is working, the answer is yes. All right, with our PBIS foundation secure, how do we inspect it and make sure it's level into code? Did you know there's a process? We have 18 platinum and 2 gold level schools recognized in 2023. How did they receive this recognition? Through a process that includes a rubric called the Tiered Fidelity Inventory, or another acronym, TFI. It's a rubric that our staff and teachers use to audit and rate their own systems and implementation of PBIS on their own school campuses. Our staff is the voice behind this data. This graph you currently see is the growth over time on the TFI scoring and ultimately campuses district-wide. Look at how we've grown as a district over the past 6 years. The growth over time is amazing. Our school teams utilize the California PBIS recognition application as its final inspection on the site's PBIS framework, also known as our foundation. In order to be awarded at the platinum level, each school site submits a 10-page application to the California PBIS Coalition. It's a rigorous process, as you can see by reading through some of the criteria highlighted on this slide. This past spring, for the very first time, all 20 FSD schools applied for platinum level recognition, the highest level of award. FSD currently holds 18 awards with the hope that this September we'll receive 20. We're looking forward to sharing this recognition with our board this October. And now Amy Lees will talk about our framework.
Could I just ask you, this is so impressive how successful. And the St. Jude Community Committee is the group that first brought this to us, and it was an honor to represent us on that committee. It still is. I think that they would be so tickled if you brought this data to them to share, to see that the money they have given us through these last 10 years has made a significant difference in the behaviors in our schools and has done what they were dreaming it would do when they first gave it, I think, to 2 schools here.
Awesome. Yeah, I'd be honored to do that.
That
absolutely.
would be so awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, so as many of us know, the framework of a home is just as important as its foundation. It serves as the bones of a home, and everything else ties into it. From electrical to the sheetrock that forms the walls, from plumbing pipes to windows, all of the systems of a home pass through this complex structure of wood framing. The framer is responsible for devising plans, assembling the framework structure, and most importantly, finding the appropriate materials needed for the project and managing the schedule. The duties of a framer involve physical work and attention to detail. There are instances when one must operate various power tools and equipment, understand blueprints, and even climb up high places. In the Fullerton School District, our SEL framework is based on the competencies provided by the Collaborative for Academic, Social, and Emotional Learning, or the CASEL 5. This includes 5 broad and interrelated areas of competencies: self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, relationship skills, and responsible decision-making. Just as the framer has many duties and responsibilities in order for their homes to be safe and secure, we as teachers and FSD staff feel it is our duty to help our students develop these CASEL 5 competencies as we strive to equip them with life skills so they can thrive academically, socially, and emotionally. Also, just as a framer must operate various tools and equipment and understand the blueprints for the project to be successful, we use various assessments to monitor our students' mental health throughout the year and continually progress monitor the delivery of our SEL program's second step, as we consider it to be the blueprint for the success of our program. On this slide, I'm going to focus on Second Step. Again, Second Step is a research-based program which, as Celine mentioned, has what is known in the research community as a white paper. Studies show that Second Step curriculum is an effective Tier 1 curriculum. So 3 years ago, we adopted a new SEL curriculum called Second Step. Second Step's review of research notes that this program has been found to help students acquire the skills, knowledge, and mindset needed to persevere through challenges, set and achieve goals, handle strong emotions, better understand and connect with others, and resolve interpersonal conflicts. In addition, Second Step has been found to help develop students' executive function skills and promotes a growth mindset, contributing to a positive classroom and school climate that serves as the foundation for academic and social success. It is important to note that research and studies show that this program is effective, but most importantly, it's effective for its intended purpose, which is to provide a curriculum and resources to support the development of social and emotional skills. In our first year, our main focus was rolling out the program, getting access for all our teachers, and supporting them in providing these lessons to our students. The second year, our teachers became more invested in the program as they saw how beneficial these lessons and skills were for their students. Now here we are, 3 years later, and starting at year 4, our students have received over 18,000 Second Step lessons thanks to the dedication of our amazing FSD teachers. This significant effort in delivering social emotional learning instruction has had a profound impact on our students' overall well-being and academic success. We are very thankful for all our educators for their commitment to nurturing social and emotional development of our students. Later in the presentation, Rosanna will show that we know the program works, as shown by the growth and improvement of students' social emotional skills through our progress monitoring tool. It is an honor to support FSD students, staff, and parents. Over the past 3 years, the scope of my work has involved providing support to students through classroom lessons, SEL circles, modeling trauma-informed practices, restorative conferences, assemblies, and more. Teachers and administrators frequently seek additional SEL support, and I've developed and delivered custom lessons tailored to address current needs and situations. Additionally, I've offered professional development opportunities, modeled restorative practices, trauma-informed practices, collaborated with teachers and PLCs, and supported new teachers in the induction process. Our monthly SEL newsletter is filled with current SEL research, district-wide SEL initiatives, local SEL trainings, and a kindness calendar for all staff and students. Working with parents has been a privilege, and I've had the opportunity to present at Coffee with the Principal, Champions for Learning, and PTA meetings. As a team, we consistently update our district SEL website with the latest data and suggestions for how parents can support students at home with SEL skills. Continuously advancing our own education and SEL knowledge is important to our team, and we regularly attend new trainings to stay current on best practices. Over the past 3 years, we've participated in numerous trainings focused on SEL strategies, restorative practices, PBIS, and trauma-informed practices. And during the 23-24 school year, we also attended trainings focused on helping students stay safe, including safe spaces and Know More, Do Better and Ensure Justice trainings, which were both provided by Vanguard University in partnership with OCDE. And now Michael Klein will share about our school counseling.
Hi, good evening. Okay, so in this metaphor, school counseling represents the electrical system, a visible yet essential network that powers everything within. Just like electricity illuminates every room and powers every appliance, school counseling serves as a conduit for lighting students' paths and energizing their potential. We're the ones who wire connections, ensuring that every student has access to the resources and support they need to thrive. Each school counselor conducts lunch groups, forming circles of connection and empowerment. These lunchtime groups aren't just about nourishing bodies, they're about feeding minds and hearts, strengthening rapport, empowering students to shine the brightest in a supportive community, and fighting through the challenges of traumatic experiences. On this slide, you'll see images of individual counselors leading their lunch groups. And to protect the confidentiality of our students, we put a little smiley face over them, so they don't actually look like that, so don't worry. We have Carolyn Conley fostering emotional exploration and support for her girls at Woodcrest. You got Laura Guadarrama guiding students through mindfulness and yoga at Commonwealth. Thomas Torres instilling leadership skills at Nicholas, myself teaching about emotional control in a boys group at Woodcrest, and Christy Kim leading the group during Kindness Week outside of Fistler. These images are a testament to the collaborative effort powering students' growth and well-being. Did I go the right way? No? Down. Technology. Okay. And then consider our innovative field trips with the high school district for 8th grade students keen on specific pathways. These excursions transcend sightseeing. They offer firsthand glimpses into potential futures, igniting excitement as students explore career possibilities aligned with their interests and talents. Displayed on this slide, this is back. Oh, do I push it? Well, that's a hurdle to get over. So there's pictures behind that, just so you know. Okay? So I'll talk about them manually. You'll kind of get a peek.
Imagine those other pictures.
I know. Okay, so displayed on those slides, somehow in the background, are snapshots of these transformative experiences. Beechwood and Park students with Counselor Jason Lee, and he is on there, at Toyota Arena in Ontario, immersing themselves in sports career opportunities. Christy Kim leading her students through the Sunny Hills High School Gaming and Coding program, and myself alongside Kristen Montoya. Shout out Kristen Montoya, you're on there. Just trust me.
I'm skinny there.
You're like that electrical switch that no one can really get out. Like it's somewhere back there that.
I'm trying to search through this. So, exploring the advanced culinary program at Fullerton High School with our culinary 8th grade students at Ladera Vista, and hopefully we can do that again this year too with you, Kristen. And finally, our advanced robotics class at Nicholas, led by Mr. Peter Correa, coming in first place at the Mario Kart competition at Buena Park High School. which is pretty cool because everyone that they were competing against was high schoolers, and our 8th graders actually won the competition. So that was cool, and it was like they made the gym look like Mario Kart and everything. So as counselors, we collaborate closely with high school districts to ensure all 8th grade students are well prepared for their transition to high school. Additionally, we support the seamless transition of 6th graders into junior high, working in tandem with elementary schools to assess needs and provide necessary support, ensuring a smooth transition into the junior high experience and beyond. Okay, that one works. There we go. Okay, so you can also imagine us as guardians of the grid, protecting against the surges and shocks that threaten our students' well-being. We're leading the charge in the fight against fentanyl, human trafficking, and internet dangers, acting as a resource for awareness, safety, and being trauma-informed. We're shedding light on the dangers of fentanyl and hazards lurking online through district-wide videos, educational initiatives, and valuable educational conferences. We're sparking conversations with students on difficult topics, empowering these students to make informed choices, equipping students with the knowledge and skills to recognize warning signs and make wise decisions, and to seek help with trusted adults when needed, and ensuring that they navigate the real-world landscape as well as the digital landscape with caution and confidence. So one of the biggest parts of our jobs as counselors at each site is that we rely on data to illuminate the way forward. So imagine the screen above as an electrical control panel, displaying numerous measuring points that we utilize to filter and analyze our data. These data points, which you can see written up there on the screen, include the SRSS IE data from teachers, Rethink Ed self-survey scores that students do, signs of suicide assessment scores that counselors keep track of, and mental health also does that as well, and as well as many others on there. They act as guideposts, helping us to narrow down specific supports for individual students based on their unique needs and strengths. This data isn't just numbers. It's a roadmap to identifying students who may need additional support. Consider the rise in major depression among U.S. teens, also on the chart there. It's a nationwide mental health crisis exacerbated by the surge in social media use. As you can see in the graph, girls in particular tend to struggle the most, but all students are definitely showing that we are in a mental health crisis in this country. As counselors, we are in a unique position to identify these students who may be depressed or experiencing suicidal ideation, but have not sought help. So we sift through the data, identifying those who may be flying under the radar, those that might have high GPAs but declining performance, irregular attendance, or just low self-esteem scores. So allow me to share a quick story to illustrate the power of filtering data and its impact on student support. During our quarterly counselor checks, as we meticulously sifted through the data, we stumbled upon a significant change in the academic performance of one student. This particular student had consistently been a high performer, boasting high already scores, SBAC scores, and they had a 4.0 GPA all throughout their 7th grade year and the first semester for the 8th grade year. And the next quarter, for progress reports, their GPA had plummeted to 2.5. So despite their previous academic success, the students' decline caught our attention. Because their team GPA, combined with their low risk on the SRSS survey and consistent attendance, it didn't really show us too many red flags. And it would be easy to overlook this student and focus on those other students who might be more outwardly displaying needs for help. But however, upon closer examination, we also noticed a decline in the student's self-assessment score on the Rethink Ed survey, dropping 2 levels, which is quite a bit, during the same period. This discrepancy in the data raised that red flag. Despite the family not disclosing any struggles, the filtered and updated data spoke volumes. So armed with this newfound insight, we swiftly intervened, checked in with the student, and realized that they had recently lost their grandmother. And they were extremely close to their grandmother. The student had been devastated and reacted in a way that showed significant trauma. We were able to then provide support to the student, provide support to the families, and give them access to different resources that they desperately needed. The student was able to make a full recovery within that same quarter and raise their GPA back up at 4.0. And that extra support that they had got them the 4.0 for the rest of the year too as well. So they actually had a 4.0 the whole year. So this is just one example of how data serves as a powerful tool for prevention and how it's important to use multiple measures when assessing students. So by leveraging data effectively, we can take a proactive approach and intervene early, providing the necessary support to students before they reach that crisis point. So now I'm going to charge Rosanna for the next part.
Quick question, just real quick. So when you guys figure out what's causing kind of some of that declining of performance, do you guys kind of categorize those and kind of have that data for us?
Yeah, so we go through it pretty strong with each quarterly check and each progress report. And we'll notice most kids will be pretty consistent across the board, but then we're able to pick out the ones that are declining and provide interventions. And it depends on what's going on, but it could be different interventions. And then we also will find the students who are improving too and give them a nice little pat in the back. It's pretty amazing how little it takes to get a kid motivated and going, just as long as you recognize them. But
it'd be amazing to see. Yeah, it'd be amazing to see both those that are succeeding and kind of what's causing the success, and then also seeing what's causing some of the declining academic components. So if you can share that, that'd be great.
I would love to.
Just
I
kind of
nerd out on it. So if you have time,
oh,
I'll do it.
for sure.
Yeah.
I became a data nerd, believe it or not. Yeah. So
right.
appreciate it. Thank you.
We'll be besties.
Y'all would be very interested, especially if you're seeing trends that we can be aware of, and that helps us then support you if you say we need this sort of programming or these are the issues we want to teach lessons around. Like, it helps us be supportive in if we're seeing trends that we need to address.
Yeah, and that'd be great because you guys, I mean, there's a lot of tracks we can go off of, and I try to find as many as possible. So as many eyes as possible that can help out and find more, it would be amazing. So yeah. Should I stay up here?
Sorry, go ahead, Rosanna.
No. The Rethink Ed student self-reported survey, as Michael was sharing, serves the role as an inspector, meticulously assessing the social and emotional learning skills of students in grades 3 through 8th. Similar to an inspector, this survey provides valuable insight into students' self-perception of their own social emotional learning competencies over time. It acts as a tool to identify students' SEL needs, enabling educators to create customized learning plans and interventions for enhancing students' social and emotional development. Students take the survey on their devices, and the reports generated help identify the social emotional needs of all students, including the students that require Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3 supports. The Rethink Ed student self-reported survey uses scores ranging from very high to very low to measure the social emotional learning skills. High and very high scores indicate strong and above average SEL skills, while the low and very low scores indicate areas where students need some enhanced social emotional skills. The average score suggests a balance of strengths and areas of growth. The data presented on this slide shows the survey results starting in fall 2022, which really established our baseline, compared to our current progress that is used as our progress monitoring tool. One thing to note is that in fall 2022, which is the blue line, you can see that it has an unusual distribution, with the majority of the students scoring low in the low range, so it's kind of tilted. However, when we compare the baseline data with our current progress of spring 2024, we found a more typical bell-shaped curve is beginning to emerge. We have observed a decrease of 10% in the number of students perceiving their skills to be very low, and an increase of 9% in the students considering their skills to be average, high, and very high. Our staff members have analyzed and used this data to make informed decisions. During the 23-24 school year, they utilized over 3,800 resources from Rethink Ed to provide additional Tier 2 and Tier 3 supports to students. This data supports what we know. Our program is working. Our social services assistants and community liaisons provide essential supports for our families, particularly those experiencing homelessness and foster youth, by skillfully addressing their specific needs. Their dedication adds the final polish and finesse, creating a strong foundation for the well-being and success of our students and family, leaving a lasting positive impact on our school community. Additionally, they maintain regular contact with families, addressing their basic needs through the Hub Family Resource Center, engaging in daily check-ins with students, providing crucial mentorship and support. These check-ins are vital for ensuring that our students and families consistently feel seen, heard, and valued. Our IIS and MNO department, as well as Nicholas Junior High School students, joined forces to build a tiny house for a family in the Fullerton School District. The SEL team was honored to play a role in choosing the family that would receive this wonderful gift. The selected family, who was facing housing insecurities, was deeply touched to be chosen for such a meaningful opportunity. The parent was visibly moved, even to the point of tears, at the feeling so grateful and relieved that finally they had a stable and safe place to call home after a long period of uncertainty. In this way, our metaphor rings true, because FSD literally built a house. Just as a house needs a solid foundation to stand strong, we recognize that each student requires a stable base of support to thrive and reach their full potential. We're proud to be part of a district that embraces innovative practices beyond the imagination. We are excited about the path ahead as we continue this important work. To thrive, heal from trauma, and reach their full potential, students need social emotional learning, positive behavior intervention and supports, restorative practices, and trauma-informed practices. Similarly, just as a house needs pipes, grading, a solid foundation, framework, electrical work, finishes, and meticulous inspections to stand strong, students need these essential elements to build a strong foundation for their growth. Thank you. Feel free to ask any questions that you may have before we move on to part 2, where Jeremy Davis, Assistant Superintendent of Innovation and Instructional Supports, and Pablo Diaz, IIS Director, present about digital citizenship.
Yeah,
I just
so much.
wanted to add a couple of things. First of all, thanks to the whole team. I actually look forward to Helene's team's metaphors every year. It was fun to see the new one. We went from bamboo to construction, and maybe apropos for this November, our construction theme. But I wanted to point out a couple things and try to make two connections from this presentation to kind of what happened at the end of the year. So when you hear, in essence, PBIS is working, what that means is for 75 to 85% of the kids, it works. In fact, we're very fortunate. If you go into Darlene's in the past, Darlene's class, kindergarten, I was many times in Darlene's class, Pamela's class, you go to Shelley's, we're very fortunate to have really good teachers. When you go in there, most of the time, with most kids, there's order, there's routines and procedures. They are very clear about what they expect from kids. When kids are doing it right, they acknowledge it. When kids need extra attention, they give them extra attention. So PBIS is meant, in fact, back in the old days, they didn't call it PBIS, but clear expectations, feedback for kids, consequences, and acknowledgement when kids are doing things right, and relationships are the foundation of every good classroom, I'll say every good teacher, probably for thousands of years. What we're experiencing with the post-pandemic is a larger number of kids experiencing those tier 3 behaviors. That's the group that we need to continue to look for supports. That's the group that the behavior committee worked really hard to come up with new ideas. And if you look at it, the data, and I remember Darlene spoke and she said, well, it's for about 5% of the kids, it's not working, PBIS. And tonight I saw the data, it was like 6%. So I don't know, Nostradamus in the case of Darlene here. But I think the piece that we all want to do is, yes, clear expectations, acknowledging kids when they do things right. That continues to be the basis for what we all need to do. In fact, we have PBIS in here. We read our expectations on how long, public comments, what we expect. Do you know we acknowledge when a speaker, thank you so much, we appreciate it. Those are the sorts of things good teachers, good organizations do all the time. The piece we need to do better at, and by the way, and I'm very fortunate, I belong to two very large superintendents group. One is a president, the Southern California Supes group, and also as a member of the Orange County Superintendents group. Everybody is experiencing this kind of 5 to 6% of students that need that extra support. We need to do more for the 5 to 6%. And by the way, there's no one out there who's like figured this out. Like, oh, for the kids with the extreme. And let's go back to what Michael said. The child that lost their grandmother. PBIS and clear expectations for that day wasn't working because they needed more. And, you know, I try sometimes not to say from the dais, you know, but we have some cases where we have families, and I had a student I promised I was mentoring, and his father's a gang member and sold drugs. And we don't have an answer. We have supports and help. So we're going to continue to need to work together to try to help. The boy that in our tiny home that literally was on the floor with 15 other people in a one-bedroom apartment. PBIS isn't enough. So as we move forward, we don't want to get into this either or. We need to have clear expectations. Like I said, you want to see a master class? You can go into any of these three ladies' classrooms. A master class in clear expectations, but it doesn't solve all the problems. We had a runner in kinder. We have several runners right now in the district. We have some that also cry in kindergarten and TK, and we're going to need to do more. So I want to acknowledge two things. We have a good team. We have a good team of people that are working on this. And we do have answers for a lot of the problems. And we need more answers, and we will continue to work together because the one thing I know, this is an amazing team. And you want to see some great teachers doing great things, just get out there. But it hasn't fixed it all. And we're not alone. And the solution is continued hard work together. The behavior committee, we came up with a great plan. I promise you it's not going to work 100%. I promise you there's going to be problems. And we're going to meet back, and we're going to address those problems, and we're going to keep working the problem. And that's because we have a great group. So I want to acknowledge first a great thank you. And I do love the metaphor. I'm literally was like smiling the first 5 minutes, just Helene, so thanks for that. And I want to acknowledge the work that the committee did to address the 5% that we need to continue to do more for.
Good.
Thank you for all the work and for all the work to put in this presentation to help us understand, because it is certainly complex and there are so many different pieces. I'm beginning to understand how they fit together better, so thank you for that. Could we go back to that slide that it was when we talked about the different schools being platinum level PBIS, because it was acknowledging different impacts of PBIS that I was just curious. It went so fast I didn't really get to see it. And is it possible for us to have this after the fact, this presentation, to study a bit more?
Did the board not receive the presentation?
We didn't.
Which slide did you want to go back to?
It was after the conversation about PBIS. It was towards the beginning when Amy was sharing about how our schools have been acknowledged for their platinum level compliance.
Platinum in the middle. Yeah.
13.
There it was.
Yeah, that one right there.
Okay, so classroom expectations are aligned, 80% of students with 0 or 1 major referral, okay, 70% on TFI.
Yeah, that's like that's the criteria to meet, right? Platinum status.
So the coalition, California PBIS Coalition, offers recognition every year, and so schools apply based on their implementation, and so they can apply. They apply platinum, they apply gold, they apply silver, so all the way down. And so if you have full implementation, so this is the platinum criteria, and this is pretty robust. So you have all of your classroom expectations are aligned to your school-wide PBIS. You have 80% of your students that have only had 1 major referral. They have a 70% on tiered fidelity inventory, which is like 19 to 20 items for tier 1, 2, and 3. So you're looking at like 60 different things that you're going through and auditing with your team. And they do that in the spring. That they have positive data for tier 2 and 3 interventions that shows growth. So we have to disclose that what intervention, like you apply with 1 intervention and you give the growth. So, you know, you can apply group counseling and we have this many students that have made this much growth. And then you have 2 student groups with significant iReady scores. So for platinum, you apply at all 3 tiers, 1, 2, and 3 with full implementation. For gold, you apply with 2 tiers, so everyone applies 1, and then you choose either 2 or 3. Silver means you have tier 1 at 70%, and then, oh my gosh, bronze, thank you. What are you gonna think of? Bronze is that you have, I believe it's like just 70% in just tier 1. So
that's great.
30%
This helps me understand the impact of PBIS, I think, because you know, to say, okay, kids are sorted into these categories, and just like we would predict 80% are in this category and 10 and then 5, if we're seeing what we expect, you know, we're just following patterns. But this is telling us that those patterns then with the interventions at tier 2 and 3, that we're making progress. It's the counseling, it's the lunch bunches, it's the, you know, interventions that are making the difference, and that's the positive growth that really is meaningful. So thank you for sharing this. I wanted to make sure we're emphasizing that it's not just that we're finding kids in the right categories, but we're actually moving them from the tiers 2 and 3 into that lower category and addressing their needs in those spaces.
Yeah, for all 20 of our schools to apply platinum means that we have full implementation at all 3 tiers. And so it's a big accomplishment. It's a very robust 10-page application that sites put together in the spring and submit to the state. So, yeah.
Thank you.
That would be interesting to see those applications after they're submitted. Really, to see at each site what's going on.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And I believe we have Jeremy. You're gonna. Thank you so much, SEL team.
Thank you so much.
All right, well, we have neither a metaphor nor a gift. So I just sent somebody to the warehouse.
This is not true.
This is Pablo. Please correct this.
I found it only if you have an iPhone, and forgive me, Android users. I apologize. But if you go onto your phone and you type measure, you have the Measure app.
Yeah, the Measure
So
app.
if you're found without your physical, tape measure, you always have the Measure app. My gift to you.
Well done. All right.
All right, here.
There you go. Very nice. All right. First of all, I want to thank the SEL team because it's not often in a district that the technology group and the SEL group are like partners in so many things. And besides the tiny home, which has been an amazing partnership, we have Bearded Batman. I hope I'm not revealing that. Is that your secret identity thing? Is that okay? We don't know. It might be Bearded Batman. So our relationship around some of the videos we're going to talk about later. But even, I wrote a grant to the Dell Foundation 5 years ago, right before COVID. We were going to make these dashboards, and it was going to compare all these bits of data, and then the company went bankrupt. And then like 2 weeks later, Helena and Rosanna come into cabinet, and they're like, look at this spreadsheet Michael made. It compares all this data. And look what I'm like, wow, great. Michael spends a weekend, and the company that went bankrupt could not figure it out. So good job, Michael. Well done. So
Well done, Michael.
he deserves a round of applause. It's crazy good data nerdness. Yes. It is epic levels of nerd data, and it's wonderful. I mean, even the fact that he pulled Thrively in, like he's like, Jeremy, look, I can take all the future architects and that GPAs have just dropped, and we can talk with them, and they have something in common before we even start the meeting. I'm like, dang, man, well done. So great job with the SEL team. We're big fans. So we're going to talk about digital wellness for a few minutes here, Pablo and I both, really our collaboration here with the SEL team has been very natural and very important. So rather than just digital citizenship, as we went into last year, when we turned this into digital wellness and broadened it, and we started looking at what are really the pieces here? How can we go deeper into digital without just giving one more thing onto our teachers' plates? Could we look at what something we're doing with Second Step, and could we sort of digitize that and change it so it's sort of a similar time frame but a better lesson? So we're going to talk about that in just a few moments with Pablo. But the MDM, there was another big piece this year, which we're continuing with, and we're pushing out through our Sunday messaging from all of our from our sites to our parents on how to control those iPads at home, because that was a big ask, and that was something that was important last year. So it does get erased each year as we collect all 12,000 iPads, and we have to refresh them and send them back out. So each year we want to keep pushing out to parents how to do that and making sure that they're comfortable with that and they have options to come into the office or to call us if they need help with that. And we have instructions in 3 languages on all of the websites. So I want to turn over to Pablo to talk about digital common sense.
Now, it did not escape me that the SEL team is coordinating. So if you see that, and I think Jeremy and I kind of fit right in.
With the blue?
They were wearing blue, I noticed
Very
that.
well done. It did not escape me.
Pablo.
So Common Sense Media has been around since about 2003 as an organization. And they're advocates in education for digital wellness and digital citizenship. And I'm proud to say that as a district, we are 6 years running with every school in the district being Common Sense Media certified. So that deserves a round of applause, for sure. To all the teachers and all the principals who make that happen, it's very impressive. We do have some updated lessons that we rolled out this year, and I'm really appreciative of the feedback that we've gotten by some of the teachers in the district. So we are revamping those as we speak, because we have left some things off, and anytime you do anything new, we miss certain things. So we certainly want to support the teachers and a smooth rollout. So we're continuing to mess a little bit with the matrix. The matrix is what you see there on the screen. I know it's tiny, but there is a lot of links to every lesson. There's 3 lessons on digital wellness, digital citizenship within that matrix at all grade levels, not in TK, but K-8. And then we also have resources for families, which is new this year, but we want to make sure that we are advocating for the families that once a lesson is delivered, that it is supported at home if the family wants to do so. So those are the family activities. And then in conjunction or in collaboration with the SEL team, we went into Second Step, and for the second semester, we were able to provide an SEL performance task. And so traditionally, SEL had a performance task in the second semester, but we kind of digitized that and made it in the area of digital wellness and digital citizenship. And then we have some examples. I believe these are from Pamela's class, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. So this is from last year. And so these are some of the performance tasks around digital wellness.
Can you explain what a performance task is? Is that an assignment?
Sure. Yeah. So what that is and so what Second Step has is it has 4 units. So third unit and fourth unit, the themes of those units worked really well with digital wellness. I believe it was like relationships, and that's a big one because obviously the online relationships are really important. So what happens is, and Rosanna, you can correct me as I go, or Amy, I believe there are 12 lessons and then a performance task in each unit, or 6?
There's usually 6, in one unit there's usually 6 lessons.
Oh, sorry.
And the 6th lesson is a performance task. So they introduce the new concept that focused around one of the CASEL 5 that they're trying to work with kids on. And then at the end of that, they always offer some kind of a performance task where kids can like put it in motion. So,
Can you give us an example?
Sorry, translators.
An example of that?
a performance task might be if we could pick a young grade. If what the focus was friendships and teaching little kids about in friendships, sometimes you have to have empathy. So it might be like they do different scenarios throughout the unit of like, look at body language, look at faces, how do we know how kids feel? So they work on that in the various lessons. And then the performance task might be something like, your class is going to act out a play or a scenario where someone is upset, so the teacher can like tell someone secretly like, you're going to be mad or you're going to be scared, and they're going to have the kids act it out, and the kids are going, like other kids in the class are going to walk up and say, are you okay? Or, you know, like I'm talking kindergarten level as an example, but are you okay? And what can I do to help you? And it's really just a chance for kids to not just receive the information, but like put it into action. So, I mean, that's on a very basic level, but so what he's talking about is at the end of every unit, there's a performance task. So they did a digital performance task. If you want to go from
Absolutely. There. So something like 8th grade, it might have looked like before. And I will tell you, we have to look careful saying their second step, because second step was like, you can't modify any of our stuff. So we said, okay, we just won't use your stuff at all for that last lesson. So we've fully created our own for that final when they just go to ours instead of going to second step. But it's wrapped around the concept of what second step has done. So let's say 8th grade, there was a unit on relationships and friendships. And the old performance task was create a diagram of how you know what a friendship looks like. Well, that's an easy one, because then we said, you know what, no, we're going to do a compare and contrast. How do you know a real life friendship versus an online friendship? Like, what's the difference between knowing how you related to, or how do you have a friend who's online? Have you ever met them in real life? Does someone else know them? How are you connected to them? Do you know they're even your age level, or that they're a boy or a girl, or whatever they say they are, or who they are? So you can modify. So what we did was we looked at the themes, and then we came up with ones that are more digitally oriented around their online life. And so we took all those themes and matched it to that. So that's what they did with those. So that we were very excited about. We had some great work done. Thank you again, Pamela, for this. And I will tell you, one of those things with the family activities, just like what Pablo was talking about, if we need to adjust something, thank you, Pamela, because she emailed me and said, Jeremy, this took forever. Couldn't you have made us like a list of all these links? And I'm like, yes, we 100% could have. I am so sorry. I'm like, I'm sorry it's too late. She's like, it's not too late. I'm like, you're right. Pablo, on it. So Pablo's done almost all of them already. We'll have the rest of them done tomorrow. We'll blast them out. No, perfect. This is exactly what we want. We want someone to say, yeah, that's neat and all, but you sort of gave us a bunch of extra work to do. And we're like, I am so sorry. That is never our intent. So thank you, Pamela. I appreciate that Pamela texts me and stuff and emails and says, hey, I've got something that'll make us all happier. And then I'm like, yes, we'll do that thing. So so thank you. And so Pablo's almost done, and he'll blast those out to teachers tomorrow. But we do want parents to have access to those sources to say, oh, yeah, you learned about this today in school. Let's talk about it at home, maybe around the dinner table. Okay, and then
whenever somebody gives you something that needs to be done, you immediately hand it over to Pablo?
Depends who it is. Depends on the task, but yes, often, yes.
Pablo is the man.
Pablo is the man. All right, so what's coming up, we updated the survey this year. So we did our survey last year. We did the first one we did in November, and then we utilized the results from the November survey to create a new lesson based on where our weak points were. So we've revamped that survey because we did a lot of like strongly agree to strongly disagree, and we sort of felt that wasn't great for the students because and their understanding, especially at like the 4th grade level, of what that really means. So instead we changed them all to scenarios where what does strongly agree actually mean. So we moved from a 5-point scale to 4 actual, it's like if someone you don't know contacts you online and asks you to meet them in person, what do? I never meet them and I tell a parent or someone at school. I never meet them but don't tell anybody. I sometimes meet them, I always meet them. So we gave them some scenarios because strongly agree to strongly disagree with I never meet them, there's some gray area there, and we'd like to give them some more scenarios to click through. So we changed the survey this year a little bit. And the survey we do in the spring, we're going to add some questions about the phone policy. We felt it's a little too early to ask them their opinions yet, because by the time some of these guys did it, it was like day 2. But we'll add in some questions about how do you feel about not having your phone? And we'll see what they come back with as students. We have new counselor videos coming. So again, we're going to work with our SEL team for 5th, 6th, and 8th grade. Again, based on our survey results. We're going to do continuing parent sessions. I went to all the schools that asked me to go last year. Plus, we have parent videos coming in September where we're going to make the presentations, plus I'm going to do some walkthroughs on the websites as we've updated some of our things around gaming and around social media. So we'll do some walkthroughs that will get translated and we'll post those. So if PTAs, rather than having me out, the PTAs could just play it, or they could send it home with their parents and say, hey, play this at home if you want to, instead of having me out to talk. So that is our current digital wellness. We are also, one more thing. We modified our acceptable use policy, which used to be like 8 pages of legal speak. Nothing against the attorneys in the room. Legal speak is wonderful because it protects us, but sometimes it's like, it's hard to understand. So it's now 1.5 pages on responsible use rather than acceptable use. So we try to flip it to be more positive. There are certain things that can't be absolute positive language. You sometimes have to say you can't do that thing. But we tried to change that a little bit, so that's gone home to all of our students. And it was also part of, even though it was part of AIR where parents needed to read it, we know sometimes maybe if you're in a rush, you might skip 1 or 2 of the things as you're reading. Who knows if you do or not. But we wanted to send that home as well because that's a really important piece that parents are reading and seeing what we're agreeing to in our digital world. So that's been modified as well. And so, I'm trying to think, was there one other thing? No, I think that's it. We're excited for what's happening with digital wellness. Oh, we got accepted to California School Boards Association. I'm sad because honestly, we put up 2. We put in Tiny Home, which is like unique to the entire country. Like I cannot find one other middle school that's done this. I can't find one high school that's put a family into it. Like I've seen other high schools have built tiny homes and then sold them or shipped them to like down to Mexico or sent them to a community and like let somebody buy it. I can't find one that's done what we've done. So I'm a little sad that the California school boards did not accept that for our presentation because I thought that was vital and important.
I think what they look for when they do those is, can other school districts easily replicate it, right? And so I don't think other schools are ready to easily replicate it yet, or willing yet. No one,
how was that not easy to do?
Right.
It's not the easiest thing to do. We know that. So I think they're just not willing to put that out there yet.
Yeah. But we did get accepted for this, which again, I also think is relatively unique in the fact that rather than just here's a bunch of lessons, we've worked with a number of departments to come together and say, what does the entire envelope of digital wellness look like for our students? And how does that wrap into SEL? And how does that wrap into our teaching through Second Step and other things? So we're excited to present that when we get to San Diego. So our board will be there, and Pablo and I will be there, and we'll talk about what we did. Oh, Anaheim, that's right, not San Diego, that's right, Anaheim. I'm sorry. All right.
Pablo, you are still the man, though. You are still the man. Right. Appreciate it. Thank you so much, Jeremy, for that.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah. So we're going to move on to our consent agenda. Yeah, there is a meeting. I know it just kind of seemed like we were just kind of chatting amongst us, but
thank you all for that. That
yes.
was wonderful. So we really truly appreciate all the time and effort that you guys put into that, and I love the collaboration between the departments. I think that's key. So thank you.
Anyone else? Comments?
Thank you for pointing out the ball and
Anyone else?
With the parent presentations that you talked about, Jeremy, is there a list of those on the resources page on our website, or how would parents find those?
There will be when we make the videos. Right now we have the one which is a cybersecurity. I had been going school to school, but we didn't record them at the schools because we had offered them to all 20. I was going out. But when we saw not as many folks coming to them, we said, okay, to make some videos. So we're going to make some chapterized videos. We'll post those all on the site, so it'll be the video with the title under it once it's there. At the moment, we have an older cybersecurity one plus a bunch of resources under that parent safety. But as we create those, we'll library those. Yeah, That's under parents. There's an internet safety button, and it's there built in with all of our other resources. That's more on cybersecurity, passwords, things like that, more around the home safety and how to deal with it at home, filters and things like that. The digital wellness piece that I've presented on, we haven't made a movie of that yet. That'll be coming next month.
So it covers other topics more on online safety, including gaming, social media use, screen use, things like that.
Yeah, it's sort of like phones, like what software comes on your phone, then what software comes added by your carrier, then what software you could add on top of that to protect your family, kind of thing. So we do a lot of that when we go out to the sites. Just depends on what the questions are.
And when are we going to see the results of the updated survey from this fall?
We have 1,700 in so far, which is nice for being this little bit of time. So yeah, to the teachers who've been on it. So and then we'll see. So my hope is, we'd see 7,000 or so by the time we're all done, 6,000. So it should be. We give people 30 days to complete all the digital citizenship lessons and digital wellness. So my hope is by about the 35th day of school, I can give you guys access to all the reports. And we can see the percentages.
Is that fourth grade and up?
Fourth and up.
Okay. Yeah. And so it's not the same as assessment of the Common Sense Media lessons. It's a separate survey of how our kids are relating to digital life.
Yes.
Okay. Great. Yeah. Cool. Are they taking the survey before they get their lessons? Because it might influence them, right?
They are. I think it's yeah. I think it says on there, please take this first, right? I think on the matrix, it says please take this first. It's always better to take it immediately after you've learned something, right? Because then we look really good. No, we put on the matrix. Please give it first.
Anyone else? No? All right, awesome. We're going to move on to consent agenda. Yes, 9A. Wow.
This is the fourth year that we have a whole relationship between students, right now, especially at Orangethorpe and Maple and Commonwealth, and our cooking department and nutrition, and they work together sometimes with colleges to prepare menus and teach students how to actually cook. Last time I was there, they were whipping something, and the student had the bowl on the side, and I was thinking, oh, that's going to spill. So I was going to walk over and straighten the bowl, and the college student was saying, you want to keep it on the side because then you do better with the air as you're beating. And I'm like, okay, just don't butt in. And it's a wonderful program. We supply refrigeration, we supply pots and pans and burners and everything. And the relationship is not just for all of that. Also, this started in the beginning. One piece of it was the Education Foundation gave money. The district provided all sorts of supplies, the colleges helped. So it's an ongoing, ever-growing and expanding program that really is wonderful for students. They love it and they learn so much. They even learn the names of cooking utensils like spatulas that they didn't know what that was, and whisks and things like that. So it's a great program, and we appreciate the $8,000 toward the program. So a special thank you to Albertsons. Okay, and let's keep that money flowing for donations. Thank you all.
Awesome. Anyone else? Comments on any consent items?
I think that Ruthie said
I
this
move that we
earlier.
accept the consent calendar. I think, did I already move that with the one change for 9?
No, that was the agenda.
Oh, that was on the agenda. Well, same adjustment, and I move that we accept it.
Bev, you had
I'm going to
comments?
second that, but then I just want to make a comment. The fact is, again, pointing out our additional contracts with Orangewood and the individual that might be doing some mentoring. I think, having somebody that's been through a lot, be able to mentor our kids, I mean, it's really relevant. So thank you for reaching outside of the box And, when we talk about those next steps and what can we do for those higher tier kids, I'm really trying to say, okay, what can we do this year? Because again, it's not going to happen overnight, but every year, just adding more and trying something different. So we appreciate that. Okay.
Thank
On that
you.
note,
Anyone else? No? Awesome. So we had a motion and a second. Everybody in favor of?
Aye.
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 Hi.
There we go, 5-0. Moving on to item 10A, approving board policy 4121, substitute personnel. Chad?
Yes, this is the bringing back a board policy on substitute personnel. There were updates and changes to how sick leave has been accrued for substitute personnel, and the changes to this board policy implement that new legislation. One correction to the board item, it does say that there was feedback received and revisions made. That was a clerical error. There was no feedback received and no revisions
No
made.
revisions.
This is exactly how we presented it at the first read.
thank you.
I move that we accept Board Policy 4120. And having been a substitute teacher in this district, I appreciate the revisions and how the state has moved to require us to give more support to substitute teachers.
Awesome. Do we have a second?
Second.
Everybody in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
5-0. Awesome.
Thank you, Chad.
And it looks like we are done. And any requests for further items in the near future?
I have a question. I know that last school year, you guys presented us with, this is what's happening, these are the presentations that are slotted in for upcoming board member meetings. I'm sure you already have a lot of things that are already in the works.
We'll send out, so first of all, a big shout out to Anna. She created a little matrix for us, and we'll, yes, thank you, Anna. Yay, we're Anna. All right. We'll update that matrix. For the most part, they'll remain the same. Sung's not here, but I think the data presentations from the state are about the same time. Dana, I don't know if, yeah. So, okay. So we'll make some small minor changes and get that out to everybody.
That'd be great. Thank you.
Awesome. Any other further future items? No? All right. With that, our meeting's adjourned. Our next regular board meeting will be scheduled for Tuesday, September 17th. And we are adjourned at 8:13.